Hey gang, this is Pamela speaking on our big Speak Up for Our Future channel this evening. I know I haven't been on here in quite a while. I've been looking at messages every few days to make sure that the trash talkers get taken out and the comments that are awaiting to be posted will be posted. But as it says, the title of this video is about a year or so late. But you're going to have to forgive me for that. I don't normally watch regular news. But I answered a question on one of the Christina's Court videos. And I think it was the one about the no-show DJ. And I happened to look over in the video section that talked about the bailiff, Renard. The one that Christina's Court always used and Justice for All used. The story has it that back in 2019, he may have murdered his wife in their home, possibly fighting over drugs. We don't know, but the guy was 63 then. And when he was first to show up at court, he never showed, but his lawyer was there. Some people claim it's an accident. Some people think it's murder, but I haven't heard anything more about it. But it says here, let's see, from ABC 13 Eyewitness News. Let's see, deputy accused of killing wife during a fight over sex. Wow, that's a first. One article says drugs, another one says sex. But let's go ahead and read this anyway. This comes out of Houston, Texas, KTRK. A veteran deputy of the Harris County Sheriff's Office is accused of killing his wife during a fight over sex, according to new details from the court records. His full name is Renard Spivey, who was 63 at the time, was charged with murder. His wife, Patricia Spivey, who was 52, was shot to death at their home on Briscoe Street over that weekend. Court records show Spivey dialed 911 about 3 a.m. on Sunday to request an ambulance, saying that he and his wife had fought over a gun, and he accidentally shot her. Mrs. Renard was taken to, Mr. Renard was taken to Ben Traub Hospital for a gunshot wound to the leg. He told officers that his wife had shot him in the leg and they were tussling with the gun and they'd been arguing all day. Detectives said it was inconsistent with the accident. So he called 911 at 3 a.m. stating that they were fighting over a weapon and that he had accidentally shot her. Something about sex, it says. But they were fighting with a gun and that they had been fighting all day. But they don't believe, they said it was inconsistent with the accident. Houston police officers found his wife dead in the master bedroom closet. They added that near Patricia was her own cell phone. 3 shell casings and a 9mm handgun was placed on top of a clothes hamper. So, yeah. And her own brother had told police that the couple had been arguing about their lack of intimacy. And his wife's suspicions that Renard was possibly back on steroids or having an affair, according to court documents. He added that he talked with Renard 3 times in the hours before the shooting. Renard possibly told him things like, "She's counting my pills, low testosterone medication," in parentheses, claiming that I'm sleeping with someone else. Quote, "I never thought he'd go that far," her brother told ABC 13. "I should have acted on it, and that's going to eat me up for a long time, forever. But him saying that and then acting on it, I gave him the benefit of the doubt." Police at the scene noted that Renard had outweighed Patricia by about 100 pounds and appeared to be an avid bodybuilder. He has weightlifting trophies spotted in his home. Patricia left behind a daughter, Christina Marshall. Quote, "She was my cushion when things were hard," Marshall told ABC 13. "She was my friend when I needed to vent, my hands when I needed help, but most of all, that woman was my mother." Renard was hired by the Harris County Sheriff's Office as a detention officer in 1996 and became a deputy in 1998. Throughout his career, Renard had primarily assigned to the detention command and serving in court operations since 2016. But he has also worked as an actor, most recently as a bailiff on the TV show Justice for All with Judge Christina Perez from 2012 to 2016. That includes the original Christina's Court, by the way, which they don't even mention. Court records show that he was ordered to pay more than $10,000 to his ex-wife and daughter. His ex-wife sued him for neglecting his daughter, who is now an adult. Renard's employment with the Sheriff's Office is now under review. The Harris County Sheriff's Office extends its condolences to the family of Patricia Spivey as they mourn the loss of the loved one, said Sheriff Ed Gonzalez. While the facts of the specific case will be determined by a jury, I encourage all victims of domestic violence to seek assistance from law enforcement and others that they trust. I also ask anyone who suspects a friend or a loved one may be the victim of abuse to persist by helping them escape a potentially deadly situation. Court papers say that Renard may have a mental illness or an intellectual disability. A mental health assessment was ordered at that time. Officials have requested a high bond, describing Renard as a flight risk and a danger to the community due to his experience as a peace officer and a knowledge of weapons. Wow. When I saw this on YouTube, when I saw a video on YouTube, some of them I have linked below in the video. Oh, wow. I always knew the guy was built like goddamn Godzilla, but to hear about him shooting his wife, I don't know if it was an accident. I know at one point he never showed up for court. Let me look up some more on Mr. Renard while I'm on here. So we are going to find out what the hell is going on. So, yeah. Okay. Let's see what else we can find here on Renard Spivey. Yeah, from about a year ago, ex-TV court bailiff accused of killing wife appears in court. You know, and you could look it all up on the internet. They say he was charged with the wife's death and was ordered to not attend her funeral. Yeah, and he bonded out of jail, but the first time he didn't even bother to appear in court, but his lawyer did. And it's sad, it really is. And let's go in here to one from a year ago. Family demands answers after deadly deputy-involved shooting. I don't know if this is Mr. Spivey, but we're going to check it out. It's from Houston, so I assume so.
Now the latest on a story we've been following since early this morning, a deadly shooting involving an off-duty Harris County Sheriff's deputy. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sion Rhodes.
And I'm Jonathan Martinez. Houston police say that call originally came in as accidental. New tonight, Channel 2's Bill Baraja spoke with the brother of that victim. He joins us live with the questions family members are now asking. Bill?
Well, the family has identified the victim that died as 52-year-old Patricia Spivey. They say she was a caring woman taken far too soon. Family and friends stood patiently, watching and waiting as investigators combed the scene. Ezra Washington Sr. says he spoke to his sister hours before she died.
I nodded off, went to sleep, and woke up missing my sister.
Police did not identify the victims. They did tell us when they arrived at about 3:15 this morning, they found a woman dead and an off-duty Harris County Sheriff's deputy with a gunshot wound to the leg. Washington claims the victims are his sister, Patricia Spivey, and her husband, 63-year-old Renard Spivey. Renard was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay.
He's a sheriff deputy, and he worked as a bailiff on a TV court show. Everybody that knows him on the outside would say, pretty nice guy.
Police have been unable to tell us what led up to the shooting or how the gun went off. Washington says the couple has been married for about 2 years.
My sister was just a joy. I love a person. Love to look after other people. She loved music, live music especially.
Washington tells us his younger sister was part of the administration department at Methodist Hospital for over 25 years. She loved to help others and was always there for him.
I love my sister. I love my sister. Yeah. I'm going to keep it up. She's not here.
NHPD says their special investigations unit is handling this case because it involves a Harris County Sheriff's deputy. Again, there was not a lot of information on this story today. We will stay on top of it and keep you posted. Live in downtown Bill Barajas, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Bill, thank you.
But things like that are just pretty freaky because you really don't know who we are watching on TV. I always thought he was very built and very grumpy looking, but I never thought he would kill his wife. You can go back and watch that video. She looked pretty. She looked self-assured. They look like the picture-perfect couple, but, I don't think the police believed his story. How could she end up dead with him just a hole in the leg? That's what I want to know. But I heard that he did bond out of jail. And I think it's pretty sad. And to her brother and various family members, I'm sorry for your loss. Hopefully Renard will pay, but who knows how long, if any time, he spent in jail. If anybody has any information on this case, let me know. I just don't know how it slipped under my radar. But I guess when you're trying to avoid Donald Trump, I guess you can miss a lot of things. But yeah, Renard from Christina's Court and Justice for All got sent up the river for murder. Let's see what else I can find here while I'm on here. I just think it's sad that they had to amp things up to... Yeah, because they said he got out on bond. Let's see when this was put out. And they show his piece of crap mugshot. He looks like a lot of us with dead eyes and wearing the scrubs that they put him in. So, yeah. So let's see what they're saying here. I'm not going to read the whole article because I don't want to take up a lot of your time. So... yeah, they say they found her husband with a gunshot wound to the leg. He told them he accidentally shot his wife. Again, how does he end up with a bullet hole in the leg and she winds up dead? Yeah. He says the suspect, or they say in the article, the suspect claimed that his wife accidentally shot him in the leg during the struggle. He, quote, "We were arguing and tussling with the gun," Renard allegedly told police in an interview that was captured on an officer's body cam. "We'd been arguing all day." Prosecutors said that 3 bullet casings were found in the closet, and the evidence was not consistent with the suspect's claim that the shooting had been an accident. The medical examiner said the victim was shot twice, 1 bullet through her right arm immobilizing it, and the other went into her chest and struck her heart, fatally wounding her. The examiner also noted that the victim had bruising around her wrists. Houston police said that her elderly dad was also in the home at the time of the shooting, but the man told investigators that he didn't see or hear anything. On that Tuesday, investigators spoke to Ezra Washington, Patricia's brother. He told them that Renard called him multiple times in the evening of the shooting, complaining about the fighting and accusations. And it is stated that he had allegedly told Washington at some point Patricia would make him rise up like the Incredible Hulk and it ain't gonna be good, quote unquote. Washington had told police that he advised Renard to just leave the home if things were really that bad between the two of them. Hours after their last phone call, their argument had turned deadly. Whoa, damn. But yeah. Let's see what else it says. And I didn't act on it, so yeah, it's something I regret, said Washington. So in other words, the brother of his wife obviously feels bad that he didn't do enough to save his sister. But sometimes things like that happen. But they say here, quote, her daughter said something to me just recently, too. If you believe in God, you know that he's in control and things happen according to him. So I could say I could have prevented it, but God's plan is God's plan, said Washington. Neighbors told KHOU News that the suspect is the same Renard Spivey who appeared on a TV courtroom reality show called Justice for All with Judge Christina Perez. And again, he was also on the original Christina's Court, which I have a case from, I think it's the one about the no-show DJ, should you want to watch that. But they say that he appeared as a bailiff on the program from 2012 to 2016, according to his profile on Internet Movie Database. As a condition of the bond, Renard is not to have contact with his wife's family, cannot have access to any weapons, must submit to random urine analysis, not allowed to consume any alcohol or take drugs, and must wear a global positioning device, a GPS monitor. At that time, he had been ordered to undergo a mental health evaluation. Washington said Patricia and Renard were married in 2015 after years of dating. He said they had issues, but never imagined it would get to this point. Right now, we're on the road to justice, so we've got to take the path and get to the destination, which is, complete justice, he said. And let's see what else it says here. And it says here, Renard was hired as a detention officer in 96 and became a deputy in 1998, according to HCSO. In recent years, he has mostly been serving in court operation. The documents shows that he was a deputy for 14 years. The Harris County Sheriff's Office family extended their sincere condolences to the family of Patricia Spivey as they mourn the loss of their loved one. While the facts of the specific case will be determined by a jury, I encourage all victims of domestic violence to seek assistance from law enforcement or others for whom they trust. I also ask anyone who suspects a friend or a loved one that may be the victim of abuse to persist in helping them escape a potentially deadly situation. And at that time, his employment with the sheriff's office was currently being reviewed. But yeah, I always knew that guy was built like a damn tank, but you'd never think that he would end up shot in the leg and that his wife would end up dead. As I said, nothing about this case makes sense. So you just, you just don't know who is being real. You know, and I made a comment on one of the videos. I can't think of which one, but I said, I guess there ain't no fake courtroom for him this time. It got real for him. You know, he had to go to jail. He has to wear the big device on his leg. He can't go anywhere without supervision. You know, he may have bonded out of jail, but he still has a dead wife and members of her family that miss her and love her and feel that they could have done more to help her. You know, if you're that angry, he could have just left, but he didn't. And they said that he was on the phone with 911 for about a half an hour while trying to resuscitate her. But as they say, the injuries don't match up with the guy's story. Because there's only, you know, you could be struggling with a gun, but he ends up with a hole in the leg, and the woman winds up dead with 2 gunshots, one through the arm and one up into the chest, hitting her heart, killing her. Wow. If anybody has any current information that they could find, please let me know. Because I want to keep you guys up to date on what's going on. And with Trump leaving the White House in 2021, I'll get back on to doing news and talk about things that are important. And sometimes they can shock us. But you never know. He said in a quote, he says, she would make me rise up like the Hulk and it wouldn't be good. And you know, unlike the Hulk never really killed anybody. He was on the side of the good guy. But Renard just blew his entire career out the window, not just as a regular deputy/police officer, but his whole entire career as a whole. Not just the shit you see on TV, but his whole entire career. And if he was back on the drugs, that should show you, you know, if you value somebody's life, don't take the drugs. Don't take steroids. They just fuck you up. And I was looking back through some comments. I had just responded to a comment about the woman who dealt with a no-show DJ. And I just happened to look over that says deputy charged with murder, and it was from 2019. So I started looking into it. So it just goes to show you never know when somebody is going to snap and hurt or possibly kill someone. And I'm ashamed of Renard. You know, I don't think his story holds much merit. We have a dead woman who cannot speak for herself. And we got a guy that is 63 years old and looks built like a damn big truck. And if you look at those videos that I have shared in the side and in the description below, you could see that he is very muscular, very well built, and she is she's kind of skinny and not very strong. So she looked like a assertive woman who loved her job. I think she worked at the hospital by what they said. But to have a young woman so full of vitality cut down in the prime of her life, she was only in her 50s, and he was, 63, and they were only married under 4 years? Are you kidding me? You know, and I thought, holy crap. You know, and like I said, these last 4 years, I've been cutting out on the news. I haven't been over here very much and talking about regular everyday things over on my other platform. So, yeah. But if you guys have any current information about this case, please feel free to message me. I'll make sure I have the community tab open. Please let me know if he was ever fully charged for her death. I feel bad for her brother and other various family members, especially her daughter. You know, who wants to lose their mother at such a young age? Mm-mm. But again, I know this was a news story late in the game, but I'm hoping that we hear some sort of an update about Renard. So, yeah. But we don't know. Today is 2020, so I'll keep checking up on that and see if there's any new updates for 2021 on forward. So, yeah. But because of what he did, he was not allowed to attend his wife's funeral. He was not allowed to see any family. He was basically put in a box and told to stay away. So, yeah. Just goes to show we never really know anybody. We only know what we see on TV. But you know.
Developing tonight, a Harris County Sheriff's deputy charged with murdering his wife is now out of jail on bond. Renard Spivey's high-profile attorney claims Spivey tried his best to revive his wife after she was shot. Jason Miles reports from the jail in downtown Houston, where Spivey just got out.
Deputy Spivey is still nursing a gunshot wound to his leg, but he rushed out of those doors behind me to an awaiting car. His attorney says the deputy's wound and his wife's death, both the result of an accident. Deputy Renard Spivey's injury kept him from physically appearing in court today, but family members showed up along with well-known defense attorney Mike DeGuerin.
Mr. Spivey is a very, very good man with over 30 years experience in law enforcement, no criminal record.
DeGuerin successfully got Spivey's bond lowered to $50,000. The deputy, who also appeared for a time as a bailiff on a TV judge show, is charged with fatally shooting his wife early Sunday morning inside their Sunnyside home. 52-year-old Patricia Marshall Spivey had allegedly confronted him about using steroids and cheating on her.
Reports that I have been allowed to see indicate that Mr. Spivey, my client, was shot in the leg. His wife was shot twice by a pistol that was a home pistol over a struggle of the gun.
According to court records, investigators determined Spivey's story was inconsistent with an accident, although DeGuerin said his client did chest compressions for 20 to 30 minutes while on the phone with 911.
This is a very tragic event.
Spivey's nephew said the deputy's loved ones have offered his wife's family their condolences.
Anything that we can do, because we are hurt as well. This was a loving family before this tragic event, and we are just as hurt.
Patricia Spivey's brother told me yesterday that he hopes the deputy's arrest is the first step in getting justice for his sister. Prosecutors argued that Spivey was a flight risk and a danger given his law enforcement experience and knowledge of weapons. Conditions of his bond will be discussed during a hearing on Friday. Reporting from the jail, Jason Miles, KHOU 11 News.
Those that think he is a flight risk, they're absolutely right, because, he's a person involved in law enforcement. And again, how does a guy end up with just a gunshot wound to the leg and the wife ends up with 2 shots in her body? Something doesn't make sense. Hopefully the family will find justice for that lovely young woman. But if they were fighting that whole entire day like he says, I just don't know why he just didn't pick up his stuff and leave. And he called 911 at 3 a.m. So, yeah. Pretty fucked up, I must say. But if you guys have any current information on this case, feel free to leave something in my community tab, and I will get to it. It just goes to show we never really know anybody, especially somebody that we see on the television. Well, I'm going to get off for the night, ladies and gents, and get ready for bed. It's almost 6 o'clock. I want to have some time to put on my, I call it like vapor rub for my joints, because I'm in a little bit of pain. And I got to get ready for Christmas get-together here later in the week. So stay safe, stay warm. Practice your distancing, keep your hands clean, keep yourself as clean as possible. And if you can't get out to see your family at Christmas, you can still FaceTime them on Skype. You can call them on the telephone. Just don't get out if you don't feel well. So, yeah. I'm still hoping I can go to my sister's. We're supposed to get snow here this week, so, yeah. But let me know what you think about the Renard murder case. I mean, this just popped up on my feed, and that case was well over a year ago, back in 2019. So, yeah. That just shows you how quickly things pass when you're not listening to the political mess that has overtaken our airwaves. So, yeah. So, don't take any day for granted. I know her family is going to be hurting for a long time because one guy don't have his sister, and a husband fatally killed his wife, whether it was an accident or not. It doesn't change the fact that she's dead and you're alive. Good night, ladies and gents, and I'll be back on sometime after Christmas or possibly the New Year. Have a good evening and take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.